Hey everyone, and welcome again to the course. Real quickly, before we get started, I wanted to go over all of the different gear that you're going to need to do natural light food photography, and just some gear that makes your life a whole lot easier. Now, the first piece of kit that we're going to need is, of course, a camera, and we're going to be going over all the different things about the camera later on down the road in lessons to come. We're also going to talk about different types of lenses. Getting a couple of lenses is really going to help out your food photography as far as when it comes to, making some unique compositions. You don't have to buy every lens on the shelf, but in a later lesson, I'm going to go over all the lenses that I like to use for my photography. Now, you're going to need to lock that camera down on a tripod if you want some consistent compositions. Every time you go to style your food and you don't want your composition to change, tripod is your best friend. Moving on, of course, you could use a overhead setup like I have right here. Now, this is just 2 light stands, an extension arm, and a couple of grips with a tripod head. I can raise and lower this camera over the table, and that's really great for getting that shot right above the food. My camera position doesn't change, and I don't have to stand on the table or balance on a ladder to get my 90-degree shot, overhead shot of the food. So that's a really helpful device. It's easy to set up. You can buy all the pieces from your camera store and set it up in like 5 minutes. You can also take it with you. You can break it down, throw it in a bag, and take it off to the restaurant if that's what you want to do. Now, the next couple of things, one is a reflector, and that's really helpful for bouncing some of that light to fill in the shadow area. So the natural light comes in, it hits the reflector, and then it brightens up pieces of your photo. You can also use white cards, which is what I like to do as well, and that works the same way. White cards are just some foam core that you can buy from your local craft store. Now, the most essential piece, my most important piece in my entire kit is this diffuser. This is a large 60-inch diffuser. Now, the light's going to be passing through this. The natural light or the direct sunlight will come through this, and this will just soften up that light, making that light really gorgeous and beautiful. I'll show you that in another lesson also as well. Now, you're also going to want to shoot with some props, and of course, food photographers, they love collecting their props. I'm no different. I love all my props and my different types of fabrics. Now, to make it really convenient, I place my props here on a rolling table, and that just helps so I can store it all there, and I could push it around my studio. It's really easy. To set the diffuser up, I like to place it on this light stand with this extension arm and some clamps. That just holds it into place, and I can also move it around wherever I would like to. Now, some things that just make your life a whole lot easier. One of them is a camera remote. That way you don't introduce any kind of shake into your image, especially with low light, because you might be using some very low shutter speeds and you bump the tripod or something like that, and then all of a sudden your photo is all blurry. So camera remote helps out. When you're placing your camera up on the overhead camera setup, or however you like to do it, I like to use a level. That way I'm sure my camera is nice and perfectly straight and level. And one of the last things I like to use is a laptop. I like to connect my camera to my laptop, especially when it's over the table. That way I can see in real time my styling and my focus and all that jazz. So that's pretty much everything that I like to use for natural light food photography. When we start using studio strobes, we'll get into some more equipment that you're going to need, but for now, that should do, and we'll see you in the next lessons.